God brings life where it feels like death is present. When we have no hope, it feels like the darkness is creeping in. There's no possibility of change. Our circumstances aren't going to change. My health may not change. My attitude isn't changing. We get so caught up in what is that we forget the promise. The second part of verse 17, Paul says, "This happened because Abraham believed in the God who brings the dead back to life and who creates new things out of nothing." Now we know what happens with Abraham and the son that God gives him, right? That test of faith that comes in, talking about bringing back to life. But we also know that that's an archetype. It's pointing forward to Jesus and death that brings life to all. So Paul ends this section by describing the kind of God that Abraham believed in. The God who gives life to the dead. The God who creates things out of nothing. That is resurrection language. Now think about this. It's hard for us sometimes to remember the context when we're talking about Abraham. But Abraham is getting old. It's already been proven that Sarah's womb is barren. Things looked lifeless. And yet, what did Abraham do? He believed. Did he falter in that belief? He did. Yeah. So the performance didn't live up to the promise. But did that affect the promise? Didn't. It just made the journey a little bit more difficult, right? In Ephesians 1, Paul reminds us that the power at work in the cross is present for us. He says, "I also pray that you will understand the incredible greatness of God's power for us who believe him. This is the same mighty power that raised Christ from the dead and seated him in the place of honor at God's right hand in the heavenly realms. Now he is far above any ruler or authority or power or leader or anything else, not only in this world, but also in the world to come. God has put all things under the authority of Christ and has made him head over all things for the benefit of the church. And the church is his body. It is made full and complete by Christ, who fills all things everywhere with himself." That same power, not less and not symbolic, that resurrection power is present. Now think of those years of silence in the adoption story. Months and months that felt empty. Moments that felt hopeless. And then life broke in. The nursery that was quiet and still was all of a sudden full of laughter. That's a small picture, I think, of this great reality that we're talking about. That the God that we trust does not merely manage our circumstances. He brings life where it feels like death. He creates what does not yet exist. Think about that in your own spiritual journey. Not just where you've been, but what God is yet to do. And now I want to challenge you to think about it in the lives of family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. What is your part in helping them to understand the significance of the promise? Because our world thinks so much about the performance that they forget God's promise.